The streets are going crazy right now. Because what nobody's telling you about Lil Durk's time behind bars, it's wild, messy, and full of secrets that could change everything you thought you knew about the rapper. People only talk about Durk the artist, the drill king, the Chicago hero. But what about Durk the inmate? The real stories behind those cold prison walls, the silent wars, the coded messages in his lyrics, the betrayals that almost cost him everything. Word is, Durk wasn't just locked up. He was in the middle of a whole undercover situation, snitches, setups, and a secret deal that nobody in the rap game dares to mention. And trust me, this isn't some typical lockdown change me story. It's deeper, darker, and yeah, it might explain the real reason Durk keeps some people so close, and others too far. The question is, who did Lil Durk really trust behind those bars? And what did he learn about loyalty that changed the game forever? Buckle up. This story's about to get messy. Alright fam, before we get into the crazy untold truths about Lil Durk and his prison time, we gotta set the stage. Because most of y'all only know Durk as the drill king from Chicago, the voice of the streets, the one dropping hits and running the game right now. But behind that glossy image, there's a whole shadow story. A chapter in his life most rappers don't want to talk about, and most fans don't even know. So let's rewind. Back to 2014, the year Durk was locked up in Cook County Jail. And no, this wasn't some quick weekend or a minor run-in with the law. Nah, this was real time, a stretch that tested everything. Loyalty, survival, street politics, and even his music career. What happened behind those walls? That's the untold part. Durk was already making waves in the underground scene, but jail? That changed the game. Prison life isn't just about doing time. It's about navigating a whole other world where every move can be life or death. Word is, Durk got thrown into a unit with some heavy hitters. OGs with long rap sheets, but also some serious gang connections. Now, the rumor mill says he was under pressure to snitch or fold, a position no real one wants to be in. And let's be clear, the streets never forgive snitches. But Durk's story, it's complicated. Some insiders say he kept his mouth shut. Others whisper there were secret deals, calls to lawyers, messages passed through prison phone lines, and some names dropped that no one outside Chicago's streets dared to speak. Here's where it gets even messier, according to a source close to Durk's inner circle, a former Chicago PD informant turned blogger who went dark after this info leaked. Durk was put on watch lists inside the jail. Why? Because his rise was threatening some established power players who didn't want him stepping on their turf, inside or outside. Prison politics isn't just about survival. It's also about building alliances. Durk reportedly linked up with some groups who would later help shape his street credibility and music themes. The real ones who understand the code. But that alliance came at a price. There are whispers of a betrayal, something that almost ended Durk's career before it even took off. Even some of Durk's own camp stayed tight-lipped about the experience. But check his early tracks post-prison. The aggression, the paranoia, the coded references to those nights and watching my back. Those aren't just bars, they're testimonials. And fans who've pieced together interviews notice that when he talks about real struggles, he's really talking about that time behind bars. One of the wildest parts? Lil Durk's infamous prison tattoos. Some say those markings aren't just for looks or street cred. They're secret symbols connected to prison gangs and codes, identifying him as someone who earned respect the hard way. The meanings, guarded closely, but they link back to Chicago's O Block, where Durk's roots run deep. And don't sleep on the role his family played during that time. His mother, his close friends, they were reportedly hustling behind the scenes, trying to post bail, get legal help, and keep Durk's name alive in the music scene. There's even talk about a few secret meetings between his lawyers and some powerful people in the city, trying to broker a deal that would set Durk free sooner. All this isn't just speculation. We're talking about a prison experience that shaped Lil Durk's entire career and persona, a chapter buried deep but crucial to understanding who he really is. And if you thought that was it, nah, we're just warming up. Because what Durk experienced inside those walls, the betrayals, the threats, the alliances, still haunt him today. And there are stories from people who say they saw some crazy things go down, things even Lil Durk hasn't addressed publicly. Next up, we're gonna dive into the leaks, the whispers, and the secret messages hidden in Durk's music. that hint at what really went down during those dark days. Trust me, this tea is so hot it might just burn the whole internet. Alright, now that you're caught up on the background, let me tell you about how the real tea started leaking out, and how it set the internet on fire. It all started with a low-key, shadowy account on TikTok, some burner with no followers, but a huge knack for posting insider info. This dude drops a clip, not your usual interview or a studio session snippet, nah. This was a secret phone call, or at least it sounded like one. The audio was grainy AF, background noise, a low hum of voices, but one voice was clear, deep, gravelly, unmistakably Chicago. The voice was rumored to be from someone locked up with Durk during that time, a dude with street cred who said he was in the same wing. In the clip, the voice says something chilling. Durk stayed quiet, but they tried to flip him. Some of the homies around him, not so loyal. The clip lasted just 15 seconds, but it was enough to ignite a frenzy. Fans started piecing it together with Durk's lyrics from the time. Bars about betrayal, snakes in the grass, and trust none but my circle. Twitter exploded. The hashtags Durk Prison Truth and Real Durk started trending worldwide. People were hungry for more. Every fan with a pair of ears suddenly turned into an investigator. The clip got posted everywhere, from TikTok to Reddit, Instagram stories, even some shady forums nobody admits visiting. But here's where it got messier. The source of the leak was allegedly someone close to Durk's camp, maybe even a former friend or family member. People on Reddit started theorizing that this was an inside job, like someone was trying to expose the dirty laundry hidden behind Durk's rise. Of course, the camp denied everything. No one officially responded. But fans noticed Durk started deleting old posts from 2014-2015 on his Instagram, especially those tagged real ones or O-Block memories. Coincidence? Nah. Meanwhile, some bigger voices in the hip-hop internet sphere jumped on it. Academics, who always knows when to fan the flames, dropped a 10-minute live stream where he basically said, "You can't just come out and say this stuff." If this is true, it changes the whole narrative about Lil Durk, not just as an artist, but as a real one. And you know when Academics says that, it means the story's about to hit every corner of the culture. On TikTok, people started posting compilations, comparing the leaked clip's voice to snippets from Durk's interviews in jail, or even some of his phone calls from that time, which were leaked years ago. The consensus? The vibe was real enough to shake things up. But then, just as quickly as it blew up, the clip vanished. The original TikTok account got banned. The video was deleted from every major platform. Poof, gone. That only added fuel to the fire. If this was just some random rumor, why the sudden vanish? Fans suspected someone paid to get the clip taken down. Maybe a lawyer, maybe even a label exec. But the internet being the internet, people had already downloaded every version. Screenshots of transcripts started flooding Twitter. One line caught everyone's attention. "They came close to breaking me, but I ain't never fold." Who's they? Snitches? The feds? Rival gangs? Or maybe inside people trying to snatch his spot? And while the official camp stayed silent, rumors swirled that Durk was quietly furious behind the scenes. One source claims a close friend saw Durk deleting messages from his phone, messages he didn't want anyone else to see. All this chaos came at the same time as Durk's sudden disappearance from social media for a full week, the longest hiatus he'd taken in years. The internet was left with nothing but questions and wild conspiracy theories. And then, when he finally came back online, Durk posted a cryptic message on Instagram: "Truth don't die. Real ones know." No explanation, just the caption, and a dark photo of him looking down, like a man carrying heavy secrets. The streets started whispering. Was Durk signaling that the leak hit too close to home? Or was he warning people not to dig deeper? This wasn't just a story about prison time anymore. It was about power, loyalty, and who's really pulling strings behind the scenes. Next up, we gotta talk about the deleted evidence. The posts, the stories, the shady tweets that people tried to erase when the heat got too real. Trust me, this story is about to get even messier. Yo, buckle up. Because this is where the story goes full clout chasing, screenshot saving, internet gossip mode. Right after that leaked clip went viral and disappeared, something wild started happening on social media. People with receipts started posting crazy stuff and then deleting it almost immediately. You know that classic move when someone accidentally throws shade, but wants to keep their hands clean. First up, we got a mysterious IG story from Durk's longtime assistant Bree. She's usually low-key, but this time, she posted a cryptic message that said, "Funny how the ones you ride for turn into strangers. Tables turn quick." This post was up for exactly 7 minutes before Bree deleted it. But the screenshots circulated like wildfire. Then, get this. Durk's cousin, who's usually tight with the family, suddenly went radio silent. His Instagram? Gone. Deleted. No explanation. Fans caught that Bree had also started following some accounts that rarely ever get a follow back. Accounts tied to known Chicago OGs with rumored ties to the streets and the jail system. Everyone started wondering if Bree was trying to send a subtle message, or just quietly align herself with new power players. But wait, it gets crazier. Around the same time, some odd activity popped off on Twitter. Lil Durk's longtime collaborator, a producer named Chop Squad DJ, liked and then unliked a tweet that said, "Trust is a currency," and some lost theirs in that cell. Super vague, but the timing was suspicious. Screenshots captured the like before it disappeared. Then, there's the weirdest part. Some burner accounts connected to Durk's crew started dropping hints, shady tweets about loyalty and betrayal that self-destructed within hours. One tweet read, "They think we forgot who stood by us when the cell doors closed. They wrong." Followed by, "Keep your circle tight or lose it all." These tweets looked like classic barbershop gossip energy, but fans took it as a direct nod to the prison drama. And honestly, it felt personal. Now remember how we talked about that mysterious DM leak offering 5 KLARs to wipe footage from a studio session? Well, internet detectives uncovered some deleted YouTube comments under Durk's older videos. These comments hinted that there was recorded proof of a secret meeting between Durk and some unnamed parties during his time inside. The comments were quickly taken down, but fans had already archived them. People speculated this proof could expose some players trying to manipulate the system, or worse, people who had their hands in both the streets and the legal side. Meanwhile, Durk's own Instagram feed became a graveyard of deleted posts. Videos from his 2015 mixtape release parties vanished. Photos with old friends disappeared. The only thing left was an eerie, almost empty grid, like someone was trying to wipe the past clean. What's wild is that this clean slate happened at the same time a rival rapper posted a video throwing subtle shade, calling out fake friends who smile in your face but stab you behind bars. The diss wasn't named directly, but the timing? Too perfect to ignore. All of this chaos sent the fans and street blogs into a frenzy. Who's real? Who's fake? Who's been holding secrets? And the silence from Durk's camp? Deafening. No official statement, no clarifications, no denials. Instead, social media was filled with silent signals, deleted posts, shadow bans, subtle follows and unfollows. It was the digital equivalent of a street standoff. Eyes everywhere, but no one making the first move. And of course, the fans went wild. Some started digging through old court records and prison logs, trying to find anything that might back up the whispers about secret deals or betrayals inside the system. Others looked for clues in Durk's music. Old verses, subtle shout-outs, and even the way he mentions certain names. One viral TikTok compiled over 50 clips of Durk referencing the real ones who never fold, always hinting at that prison experience, but with a twist that only now made sense, like he was speaking to people who knew what really happened. The vibe? It was like the past was trying to speak through the present, but only to those who knew how to listen. And that's when the internet realized, this story isn't just about prison time. It's about power, survival, and the dangerous game of trust inside and outside the cell. Next, we gotta get into the emotional fallout. How this mess tore through Durk's circle. Who got quiet, who got loud, and who might be behind the whole thing. Yo, listen up. This is where the story stops being just whispers and starts getting real messy. After all that leaked tea and deleted posts, things inside Lil Durk's camp, they went from tense to straight up volatile. Like, if you thought the internet drama was wild, the real-life energy was 10 times worse. Right when the leak dropped, people close to Durk started switching up. Real quick. Some of his closest friends were suddenly acting cold, distant, like they were trying to avoid questions, or just flat out didn't want to be seen together anymore. Sources say one of Durk's longtime crew members was caught on FaceTime, looking visibly stressed, mumbling about trust breaking down and watch your back. That's not just paranoia, that's the fallout of betrayal cutting deep. Durk himself, he stayed quiet at first, but then dropped a tweet that had everyone reading between the lines. "I'm good off everybody." Short, savage, and heavy with meaning. Fans interpreted it as a diss. Maybe at those who turned their backs on him during his hardest time, or maybe at those still whispering behind the scenes. On the flip side, Offset jumped on Instagram with a studio video, laughing and vibing, but if you look close, that smile looks fake as hell. He's staring at his phone the whole time, distracted, shaking his head like he's processing something heavy. That little clip got shared everywhere, with people commenting, "Yo, that energy ain't right. Something's wrong behind the scenes." It was like the facade of fun was cracking. And then the split started showing. QC, Durk's label and crew, which has been tight for years, suddenly felt like it was divided in two. Some people were siding with Durk, showing support in subtle ways, reposting his older tracks, dropping cryptic messages about loyalty. Others stayed quiet, or even seemed to throw shade from the sidelines. Remember Lil Yachty? He liked a weird tweet during this time. Something like, "Fake friends are the hardest to spot when you're locked up and no one answers your calls." That tweet blew up as fans connected the dots. Is Yachty sending a message? Or just commenting on the culture? Meanwhile, other members of Durk's camp were spotted in the studio looking serious, not the usual vibes. Some went completely off social media, disappearing for days. Rumors said a few were dealing with legal issues themselves, adding more stress. And the biggest shocker? Some OGs from Durk's hometown started openly questioning his loyalty on private group chats that leaked. One message read, "If you can't trust your own, what's the point?" It was like the whole foundation of trust Durk built was cracking. One insider even claimed that Durk was spotted in Chicago late one night, pulling up to the studio alone. No entourage, which is rare. He apparently just stared at his phone, didn't say a word, and shook his head slowly. The vibe was heavy, like a man carrying the weight of everything that went down behind closed doors. This emotional breakdown wasn't just personal, it was public too. Fans picked up on every little sign, the deleted Instagram posts, the awkward interviews where Durk looked distracted, the sudden silence from his usual hype men. But it wasn't just Durk, feeling the heat. There were whispers that some crew members felt betrayed by Durk himself, that maybe some decisions he made in prison or after lockdown relationships, and that some people felt left out or betrayed by moves they didn't know about. Social media became a minefield. Fans and bloggers started leaking inside info about who might have been talking to the feds, who was really loyal, and who was just playing a game. The lines between real and fake blurred, and then came the emotional toll on Durk's personal life. Friends close to the rapper said his family noticed a change. He was more reserved, less open, and sometimes distant even when surrounded by those he trusts most. One source said, "Durk's not the same guy. That prison time and everything that followed changed him, made him colder, more guarded. You can hear it in his music too. Songs about betrayal, trust, and the cost of loyalty weren't just for the culture anymore. They were therapy, confessions, warnings. Even some fans started showing concern on social media, commenting things like, 'We see you, Durk. Stay strong.' It's not just rap beef, it's real life." All this emotional fallout created a pressure cooker. The loyalty fractures, the silent stares, the cryptic posts. They made it clear this wasn't just some industry drama. It was personal, deeply personal, and just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more complicated, a new twist dropped, an AI-generated voice clip that might expose even darker secrets about what really went down in that prison. Yeah, I know it sounds like some sci-fi Netflix plot, but stay tuned, because Act 5, it's where the story goes full conspiracy mode. Alright fam, if you thought things were wild before, buckle up because the plot just took a sci-fi level turn, like Black Mirror meets the rap streets. So, after the emotional fallout hit hard, out of nowhere, an AI-generated voice clip leaked online. And no, I'm not talking about some funny TikTok filter. This clip sounded eerily like Offset himself, but the words, they were shocking. The clip caught fire overnight, and it went something like this. I'm paraphrasing. "Make sure it's done right. No witnesses. We can't afford leaks like last time. Obviously, no one confirmed the clip was real. Some experts in voice tech jumped on Twitter trying to analyze it, debating if it was a deep fake, the kind of AI trickery that can mimic someone's voice perfectly. But the timing, that was the wild part. This AI clip dropped right after Offset's cousin deleted his entire Instagram, and after a DM leak surfaced showing someone offering a hefty $5,000 bribe to a studio engineer. The bribe? To erase video footage from the same session linked to Durk's prison saga. You read that right. $5,000 to wipe receipts. The DM showed a direct message sent to the engineer saying, "Get rid of the files." No questions asked. $5,000 upfront. People started connecting dots. This wasn't just about friends falling out or crew drama anymore. This was starting to look like label-level sabotage. A full-on covert operation to control the narrative. Some insiders speculated that major players behind the scenes, labels, managers, or even PR teams, were orchestrating this to protect their investments. Because let's be real, if Durk's prison story or any related betrayal leaked fully, it could tank careers, ruin deals, and spark more violence. One Reddit thread blew up, theorizing that the whole AI voice clip was an attempt to frame Offset, to throw him under the bus, while someone else pulled strings behind the curtain. Others claimed it was a smokescreen, a distraction tactic to cover up the real dirt, which might be even messier than anyone imagined. And it didn't stop there. The leak sparked a surge of hacktivist-style sleuths digging through deleted Snapchat stories, Instagram archives, and even obscure message boards. Some found screenshots of private conversations with cryptic lines like, "They think this is just rap beef. It's bigger than that. Watch your back." The game's changing. Then there was talk about a mysterious figure, a ghost engineer who supposedly held the original footage and was now disappearing from the scene. The biggest question burning up Twitter: who's the mastermind? Is it Offset? Is it the label, or some shadowy figure using AI tech to manipulate the whole industry? Meanwhile, Durk stayed quiet. No posts, no responses, just letting the storm brew. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just about personal beef anymore. It was a full-blown conspiracy with digital weapons, money bribes, and power moves happening behind closed doors. And the fans? They were eating it up. Some believed the AI clip was real and proof of Offset's cold-blooded scheming. Others thought it was all smoke and mirrors, a masterclass in modern-day manipulation. One viral tweet summed it up best. In 2025, the rap wars aren't fought with fists or bullets. They're fought with pixels and lies. So what's next? Well, the streets say there was a heated confrontation brewing. Rumors of Offset's crew and Durk's people almost going head-to-head at a spot called Magic City. So, after the AI clip dropped and the DM bribe leaked, rumors started swirling about a late-night encounter between Offset's crew and Lil Durk's people. And no, this wasn't some casual meetup or friendly catch-up. This was straight up loaded with tension. Magic City, the infamous Atlanta strip club where many rap beefs have escalated before, was reportedly the scene. Sources say both camps showed up on the same night, and things almost blew up. Word is, the two sides didn't jump right into fists. Nah, this was more psychological warfare, shouting matches, aggressive body language, and warning shots. Blurry phone footage leaked to Twitter showed silhouettes arguing outside the club, voices raised but no punches thrown. In the background, you can hear a voice yelling something like, "Don't touch him till it's handled." That phrase got clipped, shared, and memed across every corner of the internet. Multiple burner accounts connected to the crews suddenly went dark right after the confrontation, sparking theories that they were going into, hiding, or maybe just cleaning up their digital footprints before the fallout got worse. But that's not all. Inside sources told us that this confrontation wasn't just about personal pride or street cred. It was about control. Control over territories, narratives, and power plays within the hip-hop world. One source close to Durk said, "This isn't just beef, it's a message. Whoever moves wrong in the next few weeks could get burned." People were walking on eggshells, trying to figure out if this was the calm before a storm, or the start of a full-blown war. Even bigger names were reportedly keeping their distance, afraid of getting caught up in the mess. Some OGs were quietly trying to broker peace, but from what we hear, both camps were too heated to listen. And while this was going down, fans on Twitter were dissecting every leaked clip and screenshot, turning it into a full-on conspiracy board, connecting dots, analyzing hand gestures in blurry footage, and speculating about hidden alliances. One popular tweet read, "Magic City was the last stand. Who blinked first? Nobody. But the war's far from over." The streets stayed buzzing with speculation. Some thought the confrontation was staged to scare off snitches. Others believed it was a legit showdown that just avoided turning physical. What's crazy is, no one from either camp officially confirmed the Magic City encounter. No tweets, no Instagram posts, no interviews. Just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. Meanwhile, some crew members close to both Durk and Offset started unfollowing each other on social media. Trust was at an all-time low, and in a world where loyalty means everything, these subtle digital moves were like neon signs flashing danger. This confrontation felt like a pivot point, like the moment when a simmering feud either explodes or gets buried, and you know the rap world doesn't forget. This night at Magic City, it's going down in the lore of hip-hop beefs, whispered about in barbershops, and dissected by YouTubers like me. But the story doesn't end there. After this heated night, a heavy silence fell over both camps, like the calm before the next storm. After that Magic City showdown, something wild happened. The noise just stopped, like dead silence from both Lil Durk's camp and Offset's crew. No diss tracks, no Instagram rants, no cryptic tweets, just a straight-up blackout. And if you know anything about hip-hop beefs, silence like this, that's the kind of quiet that screams loudest. Durk and Offset both went ghost mode on socials. No posts, no stories, no likes. The people close to them started unfollowing each other like it was a game of digital musical chairs. The subtle burns of unfollows hit harder than any diss track could. One of Offset's cousins, who's usually loud and active on Instagram, deleted his entire account. Poof, gone without a trace. Fans speculated he was cutting ties or protecting himself from the fallout. Meanwhile, the fan base was going wild, refreshing timelines, hunting for any crumb of info. The silence was so loud it sparked more rumors than the original leaks. People inside the circle who once posted openly about loyalty or crew moves, suddenly quiet, like they'd been told to keep their mouths shut. Industry. Insiders whispered that this hush-hush was less about cooling things down and more about damage control, like labels and managers stepping in to stop the narrative from spinning out of control. Some even said lawyers got involved, sending cease and desist notices to bloggers and accounts spreading the drama. Meanwhile, street